Look, I'm about to share something that might surprise you about the Columbus real estate market. When I sit down and talk to families about relocating to Columbus, Ohio, they always think it's Columbus or Dublin, and for the most part, they're actually picking Dublin. But it's not for the reasons that you think. Why? Look, I've learned that the Dublin versus Columbus choice isn't really about schools or safety or any of the obvious things that people mention. It's about a collection of factors that most people don't even realize they're evaluating until I walk them through it. Today, we're going to break down exactly why, well, Columbus or Dublin may actually be the better fit for you. But at the same time, here's the thing. The decision affects your daily life, your finances, and your family's experiences for years. And most people are making it based on incomplete information. Let's make sure that's not you. Let's start off with something that seems boring but affects your life every single day. Infrastructure. Look, Dublin is a planned community in ways that Columbus proper just simply isn't. And this matters a lot more than you think. Look, Dublin was developed primarily from the 1980s onward with modern planning principles. This means that the roads are designed for current traffic patterns, not retrofitted for 1950s layouts. It means that storm sewers are sized appropriately so your basement doesn't flood every heavy rain. It means that utilities are buried properly so you're not dealing with constant power outages during storms. Look, we've got clients who live in Clintonville before moving to Dublin, and one thing that they told us is they didn't realize how often their power went out until they actually moved somewhere where it never does. Old trees on overheated power lines versus buried utilities in newer developments. It's a difference between losing power 4 to 5 times a year versus maybe once every few years. But look, here's the part that no one thinks about until they're actually dealing with it. Water pressure and sewer capacity. I know, I get it. This is a boring conversation. Gagan, why are you even talking about this? The people that are still here, you are the people that actually care about owning a home, and you care about the neighborhoods that you're living in. Dublin's infrastructure is designed for current population density. Columbus proper, especially in older neighborhoods, it's running utilities designed for 1960s populations on 2020 density. That means lower water pressure, higher risk of sewer backup, and older pipes that fail more frequently. Look, the real cost of this infrastructural difference is harder to quantify per se, but it's real. It's the $3,000 that you don't spend on backup generators because power is reliable. It's the lost work productivity, then the power goes out during the weekdays and you can't work from home. Look, here's the insider knowledge for all of this. When evaluating neighborhoods, ask about infrastructural age and basement flooding history. Dublin and other newer suburbs have significant advantages here that affect your actual living experiences and maintenance costs. Look, everyone knows that Dublin schools are highly rated, but that's not actually why most families choose Dublin. Here's the thing, this isn't me talking about the schools here and there because the test scores are excellent, yeah, but we can also talk about Upper Arlington, Worthington, New Albany's, they all have comparable test scores. So why does Dublin actually win the comparison according to most people and according to niche.com? It's about the capacity, the faculties and facilities and programs that newer, well-funded districts can offer. Dublin schools have been built in the last 20 to 30 years with modern educational spaces, science labs with current equipments, technology infrastructure that supports one-to-one device programs, athletic facilities that don't require constant funding to maintain. But here's what really matters to families. Dublin schools have capacity. When you move to Dublin, your kids get into their boundary school without wait lists or overflow situations. In Columbus City schools, even the good magnet programs require lottery applications, and popular boundary schools sometimes have capacity issues. Now, albeit this isn't the same everywhere in Dublin, and Dublin definitely is having certain overflows, but it is a lot better than other locations that we have yet to mention. The sports and activities advantage is real, but it's not for the reasons that people think. It's not that Dublin produces better athletes, it's that the faculties and facilities and programs are funded well enough that the kids who want to participate can. The swimming pools, the athletic fields, the performing arts, they're sized for participation, not just elite athletes. And look, here is the financial angle that no one actually calculates. Dublin schools have lower unofficial cost for families. The PTOs, they don't have to have fundraisers as aggressively because the tax base funds basic properly. You're not constantly being asked for $50 here and $100 there for things that should be covered by the school budgets. Over 12 years of schooling K-12 for 2 kids, the difference in these hidden costs between a well-funded district and an underfunded one is easily $10,000 to $15,000, and that's real money that affects real families' budgets. Now get this isn't me saying this area is well-funded, this area isn't, so you should go here, so you should go there. We actually had a client of ours make that move here all the way from Arizona, and one of the big things that she told us is, I love Dublin because we're not constantly having these meetings here, and we're not constantly fundraising. I just love the fact that I get to speak with my community, and I know exactly where my kids are, and honestly, I feel at home here. So it's actual anecdotes from other individuals that have made that migration to Dublin that are looking at other avenues as well. And look, if you're still confused or you're still worrying about, hey, look, where do I go? What do I look for? It's a lot. That's where my team and I come in. As much as we love making these videos, we'd love the opportunity to help you find exactly where home is. We're pretty good at our jobs. So if you have any questions about living in Dublin, Columbus, New Albany, Powell, wherever, reach out. Give us a call, shoot us a text. Again, all of our contact information is in the description below and pinned to the top of the comments. We actually had one of you reach out while you were watching one of our videos and you sent me a screenshot, and I thought that was the coolest thing ever. Please keep doing that. I love you more for it. Look, here's the insider knowledge. School quality isn't just about test scores. It's about capacity, facilities, and hidden costs that affect your family's actual experience and budgets. Look, here's something that affects your wealth building that most people don't think about when choosing where to live. Dublin property values are more stable through market cycles than Columbus proper, and this matters enormously for your financial security. And again, we're going to talk about the numbers. I really do not want you to think that these are my opinion. We fact check everything. We look at the numbers, we look at anecdotes, and I want to give you the most unbiased opinion. That is really important to me that you understand that I'm not telling you where to live. I'm simply giving you the facts so you can decide. We are advisors, not just salespeople. During the 08-09 housing crash, Dublin home values dropped about 12 to 15%. Columbus neighborhoods dropped 20 to 35, depending on the certain locations. Difference meant that Dublin homeowners maintained equity while some Columbus homeowners went underwater on their mortgages. So why exactly does Dublin hold the value better? Well, multiple factors. Number one, the school district creates consistent demand. Number two, families move to Dublin specifically for schools, and that demand persists through economic cycle. The newer home stock means less deferred maintenance risk. Buyers aren't worried about a 100-year-old plumbing or ancient electrical issue. And the corporate presence creates this employment stability. Look at companies like Cardinal Health, Verizon, IGS Energy, and dozens of others have major operations in Dublin. This means high-income jobs that creates local demand for housing even during broader economic downturns. But here's the wealth-building math that no one actually shows you. Okay, get this. If you buy a $450,000 house in Dublin that appreciates 4.5% annually over 10 years, you end up with a $705,000 house in value. If you buy a $350,000 home in Columbus that appreciates 5% annually but drops 25% during one market correction, you're ending up with about $575,000 in value. The craziness actually costs you more in long term than the higher initial price. Look, plus Dublin homeowners are easier to sell during market downturns. When times are tough and buyers are scarce, Dublin school districts and amenities, they keep buyers looking there first. Your home spends less time on market and sells closer to asking price even when the market softens. Here is the insider knowledge for all of this. Property value stability is as important as appreciation rates for long-term wealth building. Dublin actually protects your investment in ways that are hard to see until you're trying to sell during a difficult market. Look, most people also think about commute distance, but they don't actually think about the commute reliability. And this is where Dublin's location infrastructure creates enormous quality of life advantages. Dublin's position northwest of Columbus puts you 15 to 25 minutes from downtown, 10 to 15 minutes from Polaris, 15 to 20 minutes from Easton, and 20 to 30 minutes from OSU and the airport. You're centrally positioned to reach more Columbus employment centers in reasonable time. But more importantly, Dublin's road network is designed well enough that traffic flows relatively predictably. Rush hour slows things down for sure, but doesn't create this unpredictable nightmare that you get on routes like 71 South or High Street through campus areas. The financial value of this is enormous. If your commute from a Columbus neighborhood averages 40 minutes each way versus 22 minutes from Dublin, you're saving 36 minutes daily, 3 hours weekly, 156 hours annually, and at a $75,000 income, your time is worth roughly around $36 an hour, meaning that the shorter commute, it's actually worth $5,600 annually in time value. I bet you didn't think about it that way, did you? That's why we think about these things differently. That's why you should give us a call. Look, but the real advantage is lifestyle. And again, this is coming directly from my clients. The extra 3 hours weekly is time with family, time at the gym, time for hobbies and rest. Over 20-year career, that's over 3,120 hours, 130 full days you get back by living closer to where you work. Look, here's the insider knowledge for all of this. Commute time is wealth, both financial and lifestyle wealth. Calculate the actual dollar and time value of location before deciding that living further is worth the cost savings on a house. Look, Dublin isn't just a suburb with good schools, it's an economic center with significant corporate presence, right? And this creates advantages that extend beyond just your personal employment. Cardinal Health, for example, its headquartered employs thousands in high-income positions. Verizon's campus does the same. The Bridgepark development has attracted dozens of companies and hundreds of jobs. The corporate concentration creates this professional networking opportunities that simply doesn't exist in residents-only neighborhoods. Your neighbors in Dublin are more likely to work in industries where professional connections lead to opportunities as well. Corporate executives, healthcare administrations, tech professionals, financial service people, these networks, they create job opportunities, business partnerships, and career advancements that only happen through community connections. And look, Columbus is not this area where you can actually job hop from here to there. Today, for example, literally today as we're shooting this video, I connected with a really awesome individual. He's working on an OSU document that's, by the time this video is out, it should be live in Amazon Prime. It's called Redemption. Please take a look at it. It's an awesome, awesome film. That happened because I connected with an individual that connected me with another individual that connected me with another individual. It didn't just happen because we're cold DMing people. It happened because we're building relationships that actually matter and that last. Columbus, Dublin, everywhere. Here, we are a relationship-heavy market. Do not destroy it. Look, I've seen this play out dozens of times where families move to Dublin for schools and the parents end up finding a better job through neighbors that they met at kids' sporting events or community activities. These connections have real economic value that's hard to quantify but affects families' income significantly over time. The corporate presence also means business amenities. Dublin has the restaurants, coffee shops, and meeting spaces that professionals need to business meetings. You can conduct business locally without always driving downtown, where saving time is actually creating efficiencies. The insider knowledge for all of this is that corporate concentration creates professional networking effects that affect long-term earning potential. This is a form of location value that compounds over years through connections and opportunities. Look, here's something that surprises people about Dublin. Despite being a suburb, it has created a walkable lifestyle center that reduces car dependencies in a way most Columbus neighborhoods cannot match. Bridgepark, for example, in Dublin is this mixed-use development with restaurants, shops, offices, and residential all integrated together. It's outdoor activities, it's outdoor lifestyle in a suburban context. You can walk to dinner, grab coffee, meet friends, all without getting in your car if you live nearby. And as of right now, with more and more projects actively happening in Bridgepark, there's going to be a lot more opportunities. There's a Carmen Mitchell restaurant that's opening up. There's over 300 apartments and mixed-use homes and retails and shops actively just getting approved. It's exciting stuff. And in historic Dublin, alongside the Scioto River, has a similar walkable district with local businesses, restaurants, and community gathering spaces. You get small-town charm with suburban amenities and urban convenience. Compare that to most of Columbus neighborhoods where you're driving to neighborhoods, driving to shops, driving for entertainment. Even walkable Columbus neighborhoods like Clintonville require car trips for many activities because businesses are spread out alongside the commercial corridor. Now, albeit, right, this is still fantastic if you are living in downtown Columbus and you work downtown Columbus and you have everything there as well. But areas a little bit spread out, you're not really getting that. The time and the cost savings of walkable amenities, it's real. If you eliminate 5 to 7 car trips weekly for lifestyle activities, you're saving 3 to 5 hours of driving time and $40 to $60 monthly on vehicle costs. Over a year, that's $500 to $700 in real savings, plus maybe 150 to 200 hours of time. Look, but the biggest advantage in all of this is lifestyle quality. Being able to walk to dinner changes how spontaneously you can do things. Being able to walk to coffee shops means you can actually see them regularly instead of just making a special trip. Walkability increases quality of life in ways that are hard to quantify, but very, very real when you're actually living through it. Look, the insider knowledge for all this is that suburban walkability is increasing value as remote work and lifestyle flexibility becomes priorities. And honestly, Dublin, it's created this a lot better than I think Columbus suburbs have. Let's talk about something people care about but don't really know how to evaluate objectively. That's safety. Dublin consistently ranks amongst Ohio's safest cities, and this affects your life in multiple concrete ways beyond just feeling secure. And again, it's not me who's saying this. You can see so many articles talking about the quality of life, talking about the safety of Dublin. Look, just letting your kids bike to a friend's house without worry, not thinking twice about walking the dog at night, not stressing about package deliveries. These small daily peace of mind factors compound into significantly lower life stresses over the years. And look, this is also going to affect resale. When markets soften and buyers are cautious, safety becomes a big factor. Dublin's reputation helps homes sell faster and maintain values during the uncertain times. And again, we're hearing this from a lot of individuals, and you can look at the MLS and you can look at the data to show all this. Safety affects insurance costs, daily stress levels, resale home values in ways that are hard to quantify up front, but very real over years of living somewhere. Here's something that's going to surprise you. Despite Dublin's higher property taxes, the total tax burdens can actually, favor Dublin residents over Columbus residents depending on your income. Look, the Columbus City income tax is 2.5%. Dublin City income tax is 2%. For a household earning $150,000, that 0.5% difference is $750 annually. Over 30 years, it's $22,500 in savings, $22,000 without even accounting for income growth. Yeah, I mean, Dublin's property taxes are higher because property values are higher and the school district is well funded. But for high-income households, the income tax savings can offset property tax differences entirely. All right, let's do the math just so you understand this. $450,000 house in Dublin at 2% effective property tax rate is $9,000 annually. $350,000 house in Columbus at 1.8% effective rate is $6,300 annually. The difference is about $2,700 annually in property taxes. But the income tax saving of $750 annually also means you actually net tax difference is only about $1,950 annually, and you get those benefits of schools, services, infrastructures for that premium. At the same time, Dublin is extremely well managed financially. The city has excellent credit ratings, low debt ratio, and strong revenues. This means they can maintain services and infrastructure without dramatic tax increases or special assessments. Some Columbus neighborhoods and less well-managed suburbs in specific locations have had to implement special assessment districts or allow services to decline. Look, total tax burdens matter more than just individual components. Run that full calculation, including income tax, property taxes, and quality of service received before assuming Columbus is cheaper than Dublin or vice versa. Now, at the same time, I am going to be honest with you because this isn't just a this place is better than that place video. Because what if it's not the right choice? Because what if one location is a little bit different than you? Well, first and foremost, you gotta think about young professionals without kids. Columbus neighborhoods like the Short North, Victorian Village, German Village, and parts of Clintonville, they offer walkable urban lifestyle Dublin cannot just match. We're talking about coffee shops, galleries, nightlife, cultural events that, if this is a priority for you over schools and yards, Columbus wins. Look, if you value architectural character, Dublin homes, they're a lot newer, which means functional but less distinctive architecturally. If you love historic homes with character, original woodworks, and unique features, you need Columbus neighborhoods with pre-1950 home stock. Let's also talk about one of the main things, which is diversity. Columbus proper is significantly more diverse, economically, culturally, than Dublin. If raising kids in a diverse neighborhood or an environment is a priority, Columbus neighborhoods offer more exposure to different backgrounds and perspective, albeit that's not to say live here or live there. Look, entry-level homes in Columbus start around the $200,000 to $250,000 range. Entry-level homes in Dublin starts around $350,000 to $400,000. If you need to minimize home costs, Columbus offers more options that Dublin simply doesn't. Look, if you want to be a part of urban evolution, Columbus neighborhoods are changing and improving fast. If you want to be a part of a neighborhood transformation and potential appreciation upside, emerging Columbus areas offer a lot more upside than established Dublin neighborhoods.